So next, our speaker tonight is Laura Conover. She was elected the county attorney in 2020. She's expanded restorative justice programs and diverted mentally ill and addicted people away from criminal prosecutions. And a little birdie told me that she might seek another term in 2024. So Laura, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Larry. I'm laughing right now about that photo because that photo was taken of me after my first mass shooting, and I hadn't slept the night before. A mass casualty shooting, of which I've had 4 already in my short administration, and we can talk about that in just a minute. But I want to say preliminarily that Kathy Nichols is a very hard act to follow, and I wanted to defer to her and have her go first. What an extraordinarily important topic, and I thank her for her kind words. Indeed, the case that she mentions perhaps will be the hallmark of my time in office. If you will recall, I am not a district attorney. I am a county attorney. And while I am the district attorney and responsible for criminal prosecutions in the county, I also have a large civil law firm, which includes the health law unit. And so reproductive health falls squarely into my office as well. And when the Dobbs decision came down, a 1973 protection ordered out of the Pima County Superior Court became live litigation again. And at that time in 1973, the Pima County Attorney's Office was arguing for the right to prosecute criminally under existing abortion laws. When it came back to me after the Dobbs decision, I found Planned Parenthood's arguments to be more persuasive, that 50 years of law and legislation and case law had occurred, and that we could not simply revert back to the 1973 world that then Attorney General Brnovich argued we should just go back to a territorial ban of all things reproductive health. And while we lost at the trial level, we won at the Court of Appeals, and we won a stay of proceedings, which currently allows reproductive health to occur statewide. I am grateful. Thank you. It is the current hallmark of our administration. It's now, of course, before the Arizona Supreme Court, where we are putting our brightest minds and the brightest minds of the nation to the task to continue to preserve the right to reproductive health while we wisely prepare for the plans that Kathy just articulated to you, right? It's always best to have plans A, B, C, and D in place. And who knows that better than your COVID era homicide spike, domestic violence spike, Pima County attorney who arrived in 2021. Who knows crisis management better than that? And so here we go. I'm going to give you just a few quick highlights, and then I find that question and answer is always a more rich opportunity to frankly hear from you what your concerns are. On the civil side, I've just given you a tremendous update in reproductive health and in health law. We remain extremely busy on the civil side, legal advising the Board of Supervisors and providing legal advice to the county administrator, Jan Lesher now, and legal advice to every county agency. That is quite the tall task countywide in a county of 1.1 million people. On the criminal side, we have officially launched adult restorative justice. This was a promise that we made during the campaign. This was a goal we had. It took a lot of work to build out the first adult restorative justice program statewide, with a huge nod of gratitude to our tribal brothers and sisters who have been engaging in restorative practice since time immemorial. And if I should just briefly mention restorative justice, I want to also speak in gratitude to my predecessor, who engaged in restorative practices with juveniles through what you may have heard of as our community justice boards. Through both teen court and our community justice boards, we've done a really great job of engaging in restorative practices with juveniles, but we've not attempted it yet with adults. And restorative justice is the concept of restoring a victim of harm, to as near as whole as possible. That's the goal. It's very victim-centric. Victims are in control of the process, and we have fully trained up our initial set of volunteers and our facilitators, and we work with a mediation group in town, trained mediators, and we are currently piloting our very first set of cases. It's very, very exciting. Continuing on in the criminal division, if I can get really fancy, I'll put a link in the chat. But if you didn't catch my recent op-ed with Tucson Police Department Chief Chad Kazmar, we were able to announce that we are in a 30% decrease in homicides countywide, which bucks the trends nationally and statewide. A 30% decrease from last year at this time, and a 37% decrease from the year before is obviously a phenomenal result of extraordinary efforts by multiple partners. And we have highlighted and explained that in detail in an op-ed that ran a week or two ago in the Star, which is a huge relief to my people internally. We have a homicide call out phone. Our dedicated homicide prosecutors respond to homicides in real time, and I am briefed upon every homicide in the county in real time. And so people are sleeping again, which is a huge improvement from the last 2 years. They don't walk around the halls like ghosts so much anymore, which is wonderful. And more importantly, it allows that constant data-driven reprioritization of resources and labor, right? So to the extent that we are in a homicide spike, or we are in a domestic violence spike, or both, as we were in the last 2 years due to COVID, when we get relief on that, we can then redirect time and treasure, resources and labor to the current needs of the day on the streets of Tucson and on the streets of Pima County when it comes to property, small business, fentanyl, homelessness, and all that we want to be driving attention towards. And then I think I really want to stop there, Larry, with your permission, and just see if there are questions, because I just feel like Q&A is so valuable, and my ability to listen to the group.
We have a question. The question is, I have heard Sheriff Nano say he is frustrated with the reforms process. What are you working on that will help relieve some of his problems since we have a jail crisis?
So he is referring to a grant process that occurred at least a decade ago. The MacArthur Foundation came in and answered a call for help regarding the Pima County Jail and the Pima County Jail population. And he has publicly, you know, I don't want to speak for him, and I don't speak for him, but he has publicly expressed frustration that that didn't produce the results he had hoped for, and that he feels a frustration with the jail population currently. And I echo that concern. It predates, all of that work predates me, and so I'm not in a place where I want to judge previous efforts towards reforming the jail process. What I can tell you is that the sheriff and the chief and I have been very public in our concerns over the initial appearance process. And by that, I mean the very first hearing that a person has after arrest occurs at the speed of lightning. We regret the lack of inquiry and the lack of detail. It occurs very, very quickly, and we have produced data that shows that individuals coming before the court for an initial appearance for low-level, non-violent, non-victim crimes are being held and trapped on low cash bail that they absolutely can't pay, on the one hand. And then on the other hand, low cash bail just seems to be the reactionary, like the human pattern reaction of the court. And so people who have come in on violent crimes where we try to hold them, they are given bond, they pay the bond, and they have returned out to the community to finish the harm that they had started far too often. And the sheriff and the chief and I have been very vocal on our frustrations about that.
Thank you. I know you were working with the city of Tucson with the unhoused folks and drug issue at one time. How is that going? Thank you.
I appreciate the question, and I'm on my summer of ride-alongs. In the spring and the winter and the fall, we are out on Saturdays doing community service at the Pima County Attorney's office, neighborhood cleanups, as we call them. But in the extreme heat, we don't bring out volunteers. So I am on my summer of police ride-alongs, and it's very much time for another Metro meeting. What I want to tell you is that there are Metro meetings that occur, and frankly, you all may know better than I do that Metro collaboration is maybe not what we were always known for, perhaps here, right? But what I want to reassure you now is that you have a table. If you picture a large conference table where County Administrator Jan Lesher, Chair of the Board Adelaide Grijalva, Mayor Romero, City Manager Mike Ortega, Chief Kazmar, County Public Health Admiral Dr. Teresa Cullen, and myself, of course, Chief Kazmar, did I say that? We are all around a table, and that is city and county. And I don't know that we have taken advantage of that before, but I'm so unbelievably relieved that we have those meetings now. Because when it comes to public health and homelessness and fentanyl and everything we're talking about, if we don't have a metro solution, we have no solution. Because we're either all in or we're just going to have pockets of failure in different parts of the county. And I remain optimistic at the high level of collaboration that's going on.
Thank you. There was another question which I think you answered because it's very related to that. What surprised you most after taking office?
Oh, well, we don't have all night. The unfailing dedication of civil servants inside the office to simply look COVID and the homicide spike and the domestic violence spike, just look at it in the face and say, I'm here, I'm in for it. I'm going to continue to protect Pima County. And I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to leave. I think that every employee I had good reason to simply just walk away from an impossible job in an impossible time. And they stayed and remained dedicated to the mission. And that both surprises me and inspires me every day to do more and to do better.
All right, Laura, thank you so much for your dedication and hard work, which has made Tucson a wonderful place to live. And let us know here at LD18 how we can support you. Call anytime.
Thank you so much for having us. I can't thank you all enough. It's so lovely to see all of your faces and your names. I'm humbled, and be well, all of you, be well. Know you can reach out, okay?